What's up, guys? We're here in Pete's penthouse, as I affectionately like to call it, also known as just the upstairs apartment from the basement. We're here with Bobby Smith, who is the creator of Don't Mess with Texas. Now, Bobby, this is a digital book, right, that you've currently got a Kickstarter going, or is it also in print?
It will be available in print as well.
But right now, it's exclusively digital. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the characters and how you came up with this concept? Now, you're first of all, you're not from Texas, right?
I am not. I'm actually born and raised in Minnesota.
Okay, so why is it called Don't Mess with Texas as opposed to Don't Mess with Minnesota? Like, Don't Mess with the Vikings or something?
I think the characters I created was basically to make fun of people's perception of what Texas is. So it really it has nothing to do with pride of the state of Texas, even though my family is from Texas. So okay. I have no personal problem with them, but it was more based off the characters I created in the storyline.
So pretty much all I know of Texas is drive-through liquor stores, guns, and a lot of American flags.
Exactly. I think that's why I made this book, is because there's a lot of stereotypical perceptions of it that I added in the book just to poke fun of people, and at the same time just to create these over-the-top comic book characters, because the best thing for comic books for me is the over-top characters. So That was fun for me to create.
So why don't you tell us about who's the main character of the book? I know in the cover of your Kickstarter page, you got this guy in like a suit of armor. He's got like the epic Tom Selleck stash going on too. I'm very jealous of that. Yeah. He actually kind of reminded me of Man-at-Arms from He-Man, like right off the bat.
The main character is actually in a golden armor suit because, one, he's a Texas oil billionaire, so why wouldn't he have a gold armur suit? So that was just
it's made out of gold, like literal gold.
It's made out of real gold, and the purpose of that is, one, because he's super rich, and two, it's just over the top and completely useless because gold's not necessarily a strong metal. So it's just, again, poking fun and just having fun with making a comic book. So, and it looks cool.
So overall, this is a humorous book. Without quite like
it's definitely got humor. It's definitely got action because there's an alien invasion going around. There's 4 different sets of characters, and each set of character has different brings something different to the table. There is guy humor and these 3 mercenaries with over-the-top weapons, and it's, they shoot guy humor, shoot the shit basically between the 3 characters. So that's really fun. And then there's a little bit more emotional, family dynamic in Austin, where there's a group of 3 superheroes, a family of superheroes who basically, they fight as a family and they go through everything as a family. And then there is a kind of suspense between these 2 high school students in San Antonio who, after the alien invasion, basically get overwhelmed and away from everyone. So they're trying to find their way back to one of the characters' families in another part of the state. So it brings a lot of just different elements to the story.
So the aliens land in Texas, basically.
The aliens land everywhere. Everywhere. But the second page of the book is actually aliens destroying huge landmarks of the world. I believe the Eiffel Tower is destroyed. They visit Big Ben, I believe, if I remember correctly. There's just different Taj Mahal. There's just different historical landmarks that they attack, but the story is based off in Texas because that's where the story will conclude of the alien invasion, without giving out any spoilers.
No spoilers. So how long is the story slated for?
4 issues, 24 pages apiece, so it's very quick paced.
So how many issues are out currently now?
This is the first issue, so it is funding the first issue.
So now the Kickstarter campaign is basically to fund the rest of the issues.
Yeah, it's to fund the print and the rest of the issues. Essentially it's to help push the book a little bit further.
And people could just go on Kickstarter and search "Don't Mess with Texas," and the page should come right up, right?
The page should come right up there, and I'm very confident that there is no other books called "Don't Mess with Texas" on Kickstarter right now.
It better not be, otherwise there's going to be some sort of like Texas Civil War. Well, it's like, we're messing with Texas, well, so are we. And you're obviously going to just have to fuck them up.
Yeah. Without any doubt.
How long have you been, now you drew and wrote this comic yourself?
No, I am the writer.
Okay.
I wish I knew how to draw like that. I would save a lot of money and probably would not need to fund the rest of the books like that. But yeah, I write it and I hook up the artist team to, I have to pay them, but I got them all together to do the work. Yeah.
How did you meet the artist? And who was the
Deviant Art. Deviant Art, I believe, is I'm pretty sure that's where I got them from, even though a couple of my artists are on Facebook. Sometimes I'm a little bit leery of how I find them, but they find me sometimes on Facebook too. But I believe this one was...
As an artist myself, I do graphic arts on my 9-to-5er. But if you just like sprinkle some pizza down on your stoop or your porch or whatever, we just kind of like crawl up after a while. And if you keep feeding us, we'll stay.
Yeah. Hopefully they stay, because I would love to be able to finish this book, because I am very proud of this one.
Is this your first one or no?
No, this is my 5th or 6th comic book project. My first project was published by Arcana Comics 5 years ago. Yeah, about 5 or 6 years ago. Are
they still available?
On Amazon, yes. Don't Mess with Texas, or not. Dang it. The Last Ninja is available through Amazon, through Arcana Studios. And on my store, I have my I'm a Geek comic strip, which was a webcomic that is now collected, as well as Parallel Dilemma, which is a suspense sci-fi story about the Grim Reaper, varying souls, and stuff like that. And a couple other stories will be on my personal store.
You already got my interest on the Grim Reaper one. What is your personal store, just so we can have it showing up right on the bottom of the screen there, so everybody can see it?
It is BobbyBSmith.storeenvy.com.
So how long have you been into comics, man? I know I started when I was just about 5th grade, so let's estimate that at like age 11 or so.
Well, for comic book characters, I got into them very young, because I grew up around the time where X-Men, the comic or the animated series came out, and then my uncle showed me how these characters came about in comic books. So he showed me the comic books when I was about 5 or 6. So I got into them, and then I became kind of a jock, became a champion amateur wrestler and all that stuff. And so I got out of the comic books around that time. And then I got back in because I always loved comic books, like the characters. So I started doing research on a character called Steel from DC, because I wanted to do like a better rendition of Steel besides Shaquille O'Neal's, because I was a screenwriter, and then I transitioned from screenwriter to comics, and I'm like, I want to make my own stories because I think they're awesome. So
it's good to see a comic creator and just a nerd in general treading the line of, especially going from nerd to jock as an amateur wrestler. That's really fantastic, and it gives hope to some of the other nerds out there who are just kind of, you are not stereotyped into just being a comic book nerd. This has always been the core of the Peach Basement Show, is you can read comics, you can still be cool, you can still get laid, and you can still go out to the bars and have friends and drink beers and everything else. You can have a normal life, guys. This is the beauty of it. I see you're definitely a gamer, judging from the background there, and I did notice that Genesis just chilling right behind you.
Yeah, you would have no idea how many games, because I am also a YouTube personality who is very big in the video game community. or not really big, but about 1,000 subscribers for
That's
video
awesome.
game purposes. So yeah, I got
What's your
about
YouTube name?
Dr. Smitty.
Dr. Smitty.
Yeah.
So you play the games in like a walkthrough kind of thing, or
For my YouTube videos, it's mostly actually just me showing how I picked up the games, but as well as I do have gameplays, which is the walkthroughs of Halo 5, Halo 2 Anniversary, because I'm a huge Halo nut, and I have a couple other indie games because I used to review games for my former website as well. So, but not as much now because I'm trying to focus a little bit more on the comics right now than the video games. But I still do some videos every now and then.
So let's go back to Don't Mess with Texas for a hot second. Now, you said that there are 3 different groups of superheroes who I'm assuming will converge and team up by the end of the story.
They do. There are 4 different sets of characters, and then they will team up at the last issue. They will all be together the full 4th issue. So they make their way down to Austin, Texas, which so happens to be the capital of Texas, as well as basically the center of Texas. And honestly, my favorite, if I didn't live in Minnesota, I'd probably live in Austin, Texas, because it's basically extremely liberal place, unlike most of Texas, which is extremely conservative, guns and everywhere. So
as a writer myself, I've toiled around with a few children's stories here and there, and I always come back to my favorites anytime I wind up picking up a pen. Do you have a favorite character in this story that you've created besides, all the members of, not besides, but of the members of these 4 different superhero groups? There's got to be one person, male or female, that just stands out to you more, that you kind of give a little bit more airtime to, or kind of stands out to you for whatever reason. Maybe he is a comic book version of you. I'm certainly guilty of doing that.
I've actually made a comic book version of me in my comic strip, but for this particular project, I very much love the character Starlight, because I made her out of 2 legendary Texas superheroes, and she's trying to find her own way. So she's just early 20s, going to college, and she's finding herself, but she doesn't know that she has so much power in her. Like, she can be the strongest person in the world. Like, I gave her like ungodly powers, and she's just starting to tap into those powers. So if I ever when I finish the series, I might want to do a book about her, because I just love her character. She's just, she's finding herself, and that's very, very nice. And I think, I have a little soft spot for young girls, since I have a 6-year-old or 5-year-old daughter, so I have a little soft spot for that as well, I think.
Good finish to that statement. Good finish. Just saying, I have a soft spot for young girls is probably not. It's like, no, he didn't mean it that way.
No, just finish the whole statement, please.
I'm just going to sit back quietly and give him enough rope to hang himself. Don't worry, I'll edit this, sir. Our hobbies are our own. So what are you reading now in the current comic books? Do you have time between, regular job and doing the comic book to actually get into the comic shop and see what's being put out from either Marvel, DC, or maybe one of the independents?
I read a lot of Image. I am a huge fan of Image Comics. Bitch Planet is very interesting.
We reviewed that. That was a nutty book.
That is a nutty book. Dark Matter by Dark Horse is a series that I just picked up because I watched the sci-fi series, and I'm like, I want to know more about this. So that's one. I love Invincible. I love that series.
It's one of Ramon's favorite books. We talk about it probably maybe once every 3 or 4 months or so, just to kind of keep people up to date with the story.
Yeah,
I'm currently on Nailbiter, and I'm loving it.
That's one of the next ones I'm going to pull. So is Nailbiter.
It's lasting longer than I expected it to, but I'm not angry about that yet. Usually, the thing I like about Image and also IDW or Boom is I look forward to these quick 6-issue books where I can read it, get into it, and then I'm done. And my responsibility is over. I have commitment issues. Clearly, there's a lot of underlying psychological shit going on up here for that. But yeah, Nailbiter's up to just about issue 18 or so, but I'm still enjoying it. Hell, I even give it to my mother to read because she likes all of those crazy murder mystery books.
Uh, yeah, I think I love those murder mystery books. I tried to get my fiance into Sex Criminal, but she liked it and then she just stopped. It wasn't her cup of tea after a while, and she's not a comic book person, so that's fine.
So, Bobby, how much longer is the Kickstarter lasting? How many more days we got?
As of today, I believe it ends on the 25th.
Okay, and what's your goal?
My goal is $2,200.
All right, so Peach Basement fans, go on Kickstarter.com. Search, I'm sure the thing's in the upper corner over there. You just search Don't Mess with Texas and break your wallets out and send this guy some love. The story sounds great.
Thank you.
I definitely want to read it. I look forward to checking it out, at least for issue 1, and we'll see where it goes, and I look forward to reviewing it on the show in the future. Bobby, thank you for being with us, man, and best of luck with the book.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime you're in New York, look us up, man. We'll get some pizza.
Will do. I need a spot, so tell me.
Oh, I can't even narrow it down to one. It's really just depending on like what part of New York are we in? Are we in the city? Are we in Brooklyn? Which part of Brooklyn, etc. Forget it. There'll be a pizza store for each day that you hear.
All right.
Have a good one, bud.
You too.
Peach Basement is copyright 2015, Ripped Productions and Peach Basement LLC. All rights reserved, so go fuck yourself.